Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sequel Telephone Game. This is the third entry in the series, and it is just as full of AIDS as last time.
Apparently more AIDS from what you've told me. Well, actually, no, you watched the bad movie 2 times in a row, actually.
Yeah, I looked out, I watched, the first one was Beverly Hills Cop, which I like, is actually a very good movie. And then, oh god, I almost forgot what we did for the second one. It was the Crouching Tiger sequel, Sword of Destiny. Yeah.
It seems like we've repeated that one, and I think that this time around, my experience with the movie I watched is kind of similar to the first episode for you, where I watched kind of a normal movie. Not my favorite thing, but I watched a movie that was, inoffensive to me. I watched it pretty recently, and it was like maybe 2 or 3 hours later, you said that you watched Happy Gilmore 2. Mm-hmm. And I think you just said, oh my god. And yes. I didn't know how to take that. It
was such a terrible viewing experience. Like, I knew it was going to be worse than the original. Just like how when you watched Axel F, which is Beverly Hills Cop 4, which is already insane, you could assume that the original is going to be better and that this is going to be like a soulless cash grab where it's just member berries. Like, hey, remember Happy Gilmore? Remember he golfs and does the funny swing?
Alligator? Yeah, and it's like there's only a few things that everybody knows from Happy Gilmore. Like, I had never seen it before.
Yeah.
But I know the 3 or 4 things that everyone knows, but it's not even that much. Like, there's not really a lot of nostalgia you can pull from because the movie is like the same scene over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have any love really for like Adam Sandler's comedies. I loved Uncut Gems, but I'm one of those people that think that Adam Sandler is just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's cool that he can have this career, and apparently he makes a shit ton of money at the box office.
Yes.
Like Grown Ups 2 makes a bank, and he's all his friends love to star in his stuff. So good for him. I don't love his comic output, but I don't want him to be erased, I guess. I mean, it's good that he's giving people work. It's good Rob Schneider has something to fall back on.
Oh, do you remember that trailer we saw for that Rob Schneider movie that he made? We watched it a couple times ago when I was here. I forget what it was called, but it was Rob Schneider and his daughter.
Yes.
Trying to go somewhere.
It's one of those things where it left my mind immediately.
Yeah, that was one of those weird YouTube recommendations where I think it was just like the craziest thumbnail and we're like, wait, go back. Mm-hmm. I agree with you on Adam Sandler's movies. I don't like his comedies at all. I've now seen all of the ones that are considered good or great or whatever. I don't think really any of them are considered great, actually, but of the ones that people like, Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, The Wedding Singer, maybe 50 First Dates, but that's less of a Sandler comedy. Like, it's a Sandler comedy, but it's not his typical brand. It's more of like a family movie.
I like that movie.
That was that was like that transition period where he started making like family. Like at a certain point, all Adam Sandler comedies are age appropriate to like 2-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And they're going to make 2-year-olds laugh more because it's meaning, and then he like falls down and farts. Like,
it's meant to be like blockbuster material, like blockbuster movie store is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's stuff where it's just like, hey, we're going to rent something for the weekend. What's something that the wife will let the kids watch?
Yes.
And the kids will be like, oh, SNL guy.
Yes.
Or he's from The Waterboy.
So it blows my mind. I don't understand anyone who is a fan of his comedy because to me, when I watch his SNL, like, I don't love SNL. But almost all of the people that people like from SNL, I understand what people like about them. With Adam Sandler, I don't think he's ever done anything good on SNL. I've never seen one sketch of his where I was like, whoa, he was great in that. He is always just Adam Sandler. And then his comedies, I guess I prefer the original Sandler comedy style to the family bullshit where every movie just has a CGI animal like blasting shit out of its ass piss. I'll take the kind of irreverent 90s comedy version of him, but I don't even think that's good either because all of his movies are just the same.
I had seen clips of Happy Gilmore just in the past. Like, I think I went over like to see my uncle once and he just had it on or that or Billy Madison. I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
We talked about with Dirty Work how every comedy, especially starring SNL alum, is like the loser, down on his luck, girlfriend leaves him, and he needs to somehow win big to impress the girlfriend and or a parental figure. That's exactly what Happy Gilmore is too. I might call it Billy Madison because they're the same thing to me in this mind. They're the same thing. This movie has the same plot as all these other comedies, but the problem is they're all like exactly identical because they're all just Sandler is like either playing his simpleton with his voice, and it's like, just kill this guy now, please. Or he's doing his like I scream at things, punch drunk love thing, which is what Happy Gilmore is. It's a whole character. He's the angry guy. So it's kind of the OG version of that. So I guess it's the one that can be respected. But he's just such a one-trick pony.
And I have to say, Happy Gilmore 2 is the just basic legacy sequel. Like in the vein of Axel F, where there's no reason for this to really exist. It kind of undoes the happy ending of the first movie. Not that Beverly Hills Cop had like a happy ending, but there are a lot of these legacy sequels where it's like, I'll use as an example the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, like episode 7, 8, 9, where it's like 4, 5, or 6 ends and it's like, all right, Death Star's exploded, Empire's cracked, the rebels are in control, you have a happy ending, and then episode 7 is like, actually everything fell apart. Happy Gilmore 2 is exactly like that. And, you know, not having seen the first one, I can assume, and, you know, spoilers at this point, but nobody cares. I assume he wins the golf tournament. Actually, I know that because I saw they do this thing that I hate, and Top Gun Maverick did this too, where they will show scenes from the original movie because they realize, oh shit, people haven't seen this in like 20, 30 years. So they'll just show him like winning the PGA Open, whatever the fuck it's called, in the first one against Shooter McGavin. And he's just like, no. So they'll show that instead of just having any type of, I mean, it's weird. They have narration and then they'll show it and it's like, just do one or the other.
Just laziness.
It's lazy.
I don't remember that in Top Gun. What do they show in Top Gun?
When Tom Cruise sees Miles Teller, who is Goose's son, who is his like wingman, who dies. And they show, and I hate this, I don't know why they did it this way. They show it in 4:3 of the original Top Gun of like him and Goose being gay on the beach playing volleyball, you know?
I forgot all about this.
It happens like twice. In Top Gun Maverick. And it's like, okay, first of all, you couldn't do it in 16:9. You couldn't just like fit the aspect ratio. It's very jarring, and I don't know if you would call it a pet peeve. I feel like a lot of people would find it extremely jarring to just see a different movie in your movie.
It feels anachronistic. If it's done well, you forget about if the camera's in the right place, if it's not filmed by Ty West, while you're watching it, you forget there is a camera because hopefully where the camera's placed and when they are cutting from shot to shot is following exactly where you would want to be looking. So you become the passive. So when they show footage from another movie in your new movie, you're like, oh yeah, a movie. And it breaks the verisimilitude.
Shot in a different way.
Word.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, 4:3 harkens back to an older time. So you see, Nick, when they put it in 4:3, they were actually activating the nostalgia berries in your brain. And you went, oh my God, it's from the 80s. It's Top Gun.
It's like I'm watching a CRT right now. What? That's crazy. So, oh, wow. So is 4:3 basically how people in the 80s and 90s saw black and white?
They saw in 4:3 when they watched the movies.
Well, what I'm saying is that the same type of like nostalgia where it's like if somebody saw like, oh, it's like, you know, It's a Wonderful Life is playing, like if they had a clip of that in a movie from the 80s, is it the same line of nostalgia, I guess? If we see something in 4:3.
To answer your question, though, Happy Gilmore does win the whatever it is. I don't think they say PGA. It's just like something like the National Golf Championship.
Oh, it's it's like the Open. Some nondescript, like this isn't the PGA, but it's the big golf thing.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's like some kind of private thing. There's these people who have won this prestigious. If you can do this tour and win, you get this like Letterman jacket that says like, I'm good at golf. And Shooter McGavin is the only person in his clique of like elite golfers who doesn't have one.
Okay.
And the plot, I mean, this doesn't really have a plot. This movie is very much like Family Guy. So, you know, I was very annoyed. The Happy Gilmore has an insanely, and I know I say this a lot, but I really mean insanely lazy structure.
Should we get into it? Because there's something that happens. There are several insane things that happen in the first 5 minutes of this movie where I had to pause and I text you. I said, Caleb, I'm only a little bit in right now, but this is maybe one of the worst things I've watched this year. This came out this year.
Yes. So I want to hear about these 5 minutes. I want to tell you up front, because you mentioned right before we started recording that there was a cameo. I'm sure there's many cameos.
I have at least 20 written down.
Okay. So that is way more than I knew about. I knew two things about this movie. One, I knew that there's a cameo by Eminem because it was everywhere that week when the movie came out. Two, I didn't realize the movie came out that week when all this stuff happened, like, maybe half a year ago. It wasn't that long ago. I didn't realize Happy Gilmore 2 came out already. Or I should say that when I saw footage from it, I thought it had been out for a long time. No, this came out and I just didn't hear about it. Well, I guess I did, but I didn't realize people were like actually watching this piece of shit. Apparently it was like in the top few on Netflix for a long time.
Yeah.
So America watched this besides me.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Adam Sandler gets box office. I don't know what it is, but very few of his movies actually flop. I mean, you have like the Jack and Jills, which I don't even know if Jack and Jill flopped that hard. Like critically it did, but I'd have to look into it. But I mean, like Happy Gilmore, the original, made money. Billy Madison made money. But Caleb, this movie starts off insane. So they do set up that he won the U.S. Open, and you have like, the archival footage of Shooter McGavin going, no, I lost. It goes on to say like, okay, Happy Gilmore had a very successful career. He won some more U.S. Opens, all that. There's like this cult of personality around him.
Okay.
Then it starts to go into this like, yeah, but then, the fame started to go away. And like, I started like, the new school of golfers came in. There's this really weird, like, I don't know if it's like in The Mandalorian, they had weird like facial AI thing of like a Mark Hamill.
Yes.
On this actor who looks just like Mark Hamill. At that point, it's like, why not just use him? Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is that or if it's full AI. There are like weird commercials with AI Adam Sandler where the facial tracking is just really bad for 2025. And it's just him being like, yes, I got my beard and I like hoo. And I'm like, what is going on?
I want to see this later.
It's like a weird, like de-aged Adam Sandler, and it looks really bad for this movie.
So it makes a good first impression.
It makes the best first impression ever. Now, this might be one of the most insane things I've ever seen in a Legacy sequel. Now, Axel F, from what we talked about, is just stuff of like, oh, his life is just still shit. Caleb, you remember his girlfriend or wife in the first movie, Virginia, right?
Yes, played by American Family or whatever, Modern Family.
American Family, yeah, it's her. So he's at a U.S. Open. He's teeing off, and he hits a drive, but he shanks it. The ball goes, shanks left into the crowd, hits her and kills her.
Killed Julie Bowen?
She dies.
Okay.
And this is a plot point that happens 5 minutes into the movie where he's just like, yeah, and one day I was just off my game and she dies. And I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. At this point, I assume she played a very, I wouldn't say pivotal because this is Happy Gilmore, but I assume she played like a pretty decent role in the first movie where she's like kind of his, reason to push himself in some sense.
I mean, like it's similar to Family Guy. That is the archetype, but nothing actually happens. She is just a woman who he meets. They talk a few times during the movie. And then at the end, he has his arm around her and they're in love. There's no development of that. She's a meaningless character in the execution of it. Although the intention is, yes, what you're describing.
Okay. When I saw this, this was like a good harbinger for I'm going to watch dog shit. I don't know why you would think it's a good idea to just kill this person off immediately. This should be something, if you're trying to make it funny, that they would just die like halfway through the movie. Yeah.
And I doubt it's a thing of like, I doubt it's like a Harrison Ford thing of you need to kill me off because this woman is not working now because that show ended, Yeah,
and she's still in the movie in like, I don't know if it's the same actress. I assume it is if she's not dead. Mm-hmm. But they actually do have her come back in her current age as like a kind of ghost in the sky of like, oh, it's okay. I forgive you for killing me. Which is it's weird because I know this movie is a comedy, but tonally it seems a bit weird for that to just be like.
For there to be magic.
For their magic to be real and should be like, it's okay, you murdered me.
So in Family Guy, how he'll fight the chicken and they'll blow up the whole city. It's like 9/11 in Quahog, but then everything's back to normal. Yeah. Happy Gilmore has the same logic. The character, I forget his name, but Carl Weathers plays this legendary golfer who lost his hand to an alligator.
Yes. Okay. I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah.
Because there's a like weird like a callback sequence, whatever you would call that. Like he's thinking about it in the archival footage. And I wrote down, why is this a black guy molesting him? Because he's just behind him, like kind of humping him.
Yes. So in the movie, the way that he starts playing golf is that Carl Weathers sees him. He's at like Topgolf, just like taking his anger out and whacking golf balls. And he can hit. So he has so much like pent up anger in him that when he hits the ball, it goes impossible distances. So every time he plays golf, his first swing gets the ball within 5 feet of the hole, basically, no matter how long. Carl Weathers like sees him or like hears it. It's like that thing of the guy, the baseball scout who like heard a crack and he's like, oh, that kid, whoever that, and that was Babe Ruth or whatever.
Okay.
If you know, it's kind of like that sort of moment. And he's like, you have powerful swing. Like, let me train you up. And he's like, fuck off, you know, but then he needs money. So he does it. Carl Weathers trains him because the thing he can't do is putt. So he trains him and they have a scene where he's behind him and it's like the clay scene from Ghost.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, you know, you got to swing your hips back and forth. That's like one of the few interactions they have. And then he just dies. Adam Sandler in the middle of the movie, it's very jarring. He just like startles him and he falls out of a window and dies. And then the movie forgets about him. And then at the end, there's like a force ghost of him in the sky with an alligator. And they're like, Happy, you can do it. So
yes.
That is consistent in the lore.
I will say at the end of this movie, there are like 10 force ghosts in the sky. There's even like Bob Barker. And it's like, well,
I want to say something about this. I seen a Watch Mojo video a long time ago of like the best cameos in movies. And I remember that it brought up Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore as one of the great, hilarious cameos. Bob Barker's in the movie for a couple minutes. They're just like golf partners at this one place on the tournament where you play with a celebrity. Mm-hmm. They're partners. They kind of bicker. Happy Gilmore hits him. They get in an insanely terribly shot fight. Directed by Dennis Dugan, by the way, who did a lot of the worst Adam Sandler movies. Happy Gilmore was one of his early collaborations. Actually, I think his first. I think it was like Sandler's first movie. They have a terrible fight, and then he just says, "The price is wrong, bitch." And then Bob Barker like leaves. That's it.
Wow, cool. Good job, Adam.
Why is this so iconic? Like it's just nothing. It's so bland. I didn't hate this movie, but I was just watching it going like, wow, everything that was built up about what's great about this, all of it is just mediocre.
That seems to be a recurring theme with Adam Sandler. I want to go more into stuff that happens in the first 4 minutes because there are two other big things that kind of just show that he's just like down on his luck for kind of almost no reason. Mm-hmm. So after he kills his wife, he's in a depression and he swears off golfing again. He's like, I killed my wife. So the money starts to drain. All the sponsorships dry up. He gets his car repoed because he's just like, oh, I forgot that you had to like keep paying the lease. Okay. And there's a guy who's like, trying to put his car on like the you know tow truck like loading thing, and he comes out and just like beats the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. So that guy sues him for like all the money ever. Okay. And then Adam Sandler's like, yeah, I had to sell the house because I got super sued for beating this guy. And that's why he's down on his luck, because there's this very contrived thing of, oh, you can't really have happiness. You killed your wife and all your money's gone now. Mm. And then flash forward to he has 5 kids now that he has to take care of. He has 4 sons and a daughter. And I believe his daughter is being played by his real life daughter.
She's frequently in his stuff.
Yeah. Also, one of his other sons, one is the kid from Shameless. I never saw that show because it looked bad, but it's one of the kids from Shameless. The other one is a wrestler named MJF. And if you guys know wrestling, you know who he is. If you don't, I don't know why he's in this movie. He was in the Iron Claw for a cut scene and you can barely see him. But this is an actual wrestler who doesn't need to do this movie. Mm. This isn't like Erwin R. Shyster. If anybody gets that reference.
No idea who that is.
He was a wrestler in the WWE who was, he worked for the IRS, Erwin R. Shyster. Okay. And he just was in like a short sleeve dress shirt and a tie, and he was like a kind of a ripped nerd, and he's one of the lamest wrestlers of all time. Yeah. But I don't know if like Gold Dust was like, I need money or something. There's another thing that happens in these first 4 minutes that I assume is a joke in the first movie, and they don't really explain it. So the house that he has to sell is his grandma's house, I believe. And there's this weird force ghost thing where everybody's moving stuff out and he's just like, Grandma, I lost a house. And she's there in just like Kiss makeup, like yes. Gene Simmons, like face paint. So what's the deal with this? They don't explain it at all.
So in the first movie, he shows up to his grandma's house and she has a Kiss mask on because isn't that silly?
Oh, so it's just funny because she's old?
There's 2 moments in the movie where there's a kiss. So they're needing money and the grandma didn't pay her taxes. So the IRS is just taking everything out of her house because that's how it works. So she says, I would have paid, but I didn't have money. And they don't address it further. Okay. She is basically his mother figure because when he was a kid, his dad was killed by like a hockey puck at a hockey game or something that like flew in the crowd and killed him. Just like
his wife. Oh so that's why they did that.
I forgot about that till just now. That happens in like the opening credits with voiceover of all the things that make him like dysfunctional.
So they just stole stuff from the first movie to just do again.
It's just The Force Awakens. Fuck. It's just Gilmore Awakens. They show him arrive at his grandma's house for the first time. And he's like, and my grandmother, I was afraid she was going to be weird. She opens the door and Gene Simmons with a giant tongue sticking out. And then she lifts the mask and she's like, I'm your grandma.
I'm Grandma Gilmore.
He says, I love you. Oh, you're so wacky and funny. And then near the end of the movie, he has this like happy place that he goes to when he needs to lock in. And he sees Julie Bowen in like lingerie. And then his grandma's there also in lingerie with a Gene Simmons mask on.
Okay.
But by the way, the amount of money she owes the IRS after 10 years of not paying her taxes, $270,000. I wonder if they're trying to tell us something with this.
You have to be a real yobhead to get that one, folks. But I didn't realize that the happy place thing was something that was from the first movie. I mean, I could kind of assume. They do an updated version in this one because he's an older guy now. You know, he's a dad. He has kids who are like in their 20s. His version of the happy place now, first time he goes to it, doesn't really work. And he's looking at, was it Julia Bowen or whatever, in the lingerie. She has like pictures of beer. But in this one, he's just like, it's not working. I need to find something that's new. And it's just like him getting like his back massaged or him finding jeans that like, you know, fit him. It's just like old person stuff, like getting an AARP card in the mail. And that's his new happy place. And then he can drive something 500 yards. That's the new and that's, isn't it funny? It's just, it's you know, a remake of the original happy place, but old now. Old now. I
really thought you were going to say his happy place was like Julie Bowen gets like knocked over by Sydney Sweeney or something. Like, razor thin. Mm-hmm. His issues are always so surface level in his movies. Like his character's flaws are always just that like he gets mad, and that's not really even a flaw. That's just the shtick. So that's the comedy. Mm-hmm. But he just plays men who are well adjusted, normal with like beautiful wives, and he lives in giant mansions, and he's playing himself, which is just a man who doesn't deserve any of the stuff he has, in my opinion.
The reason why girls like him is because to some people, he's funny, and also his nose is big. This is why they like Adam Driver, even though he looks like an actual like Down syndrome child. His face is so fucked up.
He looks very strange.
Yeah, he's tall and he has a big nose. And I'll let you guys extrapolate all the information you need from that.
3 reasons, actually. If you can do the math, there's 3 reasons.
So just like how Pops needs surgery in Dirty Work, the reason why Sandler needs money in this one, besides the house is getting sold and all that, is because his daughter, his only daughter, is very good at ballet. He comes home and she's like doing pirouettes and stuff. And he's like, oh, that's my baby. Yeah. And the instructor's like, you know, she's getting really good. She's kind of beyond my level of teaching. There's a ballet in Paris and it's like a 4-year school. The thing is, the tuition is like $70,000 a year. Okay. So if you want her to like, you know, she could be like, you know, the top, the creme de la creme of ballet dancers. So you should send her to the school if you love her. And he's like, anything for my baby. So he's just like, I need to get a lot of money fast. And the way to do that is he's like, what skills do I have? He's working at like a grocery store to make ends meet because he also owes a lot of money, you know, because his car and like a house got repossessed. He's just like, okay, well, I should probably get back into golf. While he's working at the grocery store, in walks one of the Safdie brothers, the one who's the actor who makes bad movies now. Benny. Yeah, the one who looks so fucked up. By the way, Benny, I don't know what you're doing with your beard, where you have like the weird like U-shaped, almost Talmudic style beard. You look disgusting. You are one of the ugliest people I've ever seen. You need to shave that shit off. Your brother looks way better than you. I don't know what his problem is, but he walks in and he's just like, oh, you're Happy Gilmore. And he's just like, yeah, I am. He's like, you know what? I'm making this new golf league. It's going to be like bigger. It's going to be faster. It's going to be the better golf, not the boring old person golf like you play. And you can kind of see like, you know, the cogs are starting to move of what the problem in this movie is going to be. Happy Gilmore, even though he really isn't an old style golfer because he does his like stupid running shots, you know, he is part of the old school and Benny Safdie's the new school. He has maxi golf.
The Shooter McGavin in this movie?
He is the villain of this movie.
What?
Why does he have to do this?
Christopher McDonald is still alive.
Yes.
Who's also the villain in Dirty Work.
He is.
He's still alive. Why didn't he?
Caleb, he very much is alive. And you see in the next scene that he is just in a mental asylum now. Oh, and they're like seeing if he's going to be up for parole. And did he do something crazy at the end of the first movie?
No.
Okay, so I didn't think he did. But for some reason, 30 years later, he's like kind of rocking in like a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest type thing, and he's just like, I fucking like Happy Gilmore. He's just so angry sitting there, like still plotting his revenge.
Because he lost one game of golf 30 years ago, which he could just go back and redo the next year.
Yes, and he's like Sideshow Bob at this point, where he's like, oh, happy. Okay. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Benny Safdie is basically like, hey, join my golf league, and Happy Gilmore's like, no, this seems gay. There's a recurring joke, which isn't funny, that Benny Safdie has like extreme halitosis. So anytime he's like super close to somebody, his breath just stinks. And he's just like, I know you don't like me, but there's no way you're going to like hit me or anything. And this is a weird thing of like, did Adam Sandler just want like a macho moment in this movie? Where he calls on the walkie, he's like, hey, turn the cameras off. And he just beats the shit out of Benny Safdie. He throws him in like a lobster tank. Which, first of all, what grocery store has a lobster tank? And I'm getting a little too like technical, but that's just not what a grocery store has. You can't just pick your lobsters out unless you're like living in like Silver Lake or something.
Which he does. Unless you're living in Calabasas, which is where Adam Sandler lives. Yeah.
And he lives in like Connecticut in this movie. Like
what?
Some shithole. Yeah, they have like some cab that says like Newberry, Connecticut or something. It's the Northeast for sure, but it's definitely not a place that has lobsters and tanks.
The Connecticut thing might be canon. The Happy Gilmore canon. That might be canon. It's interesting. So this thing with him beating people up, he does this in the movie like 1,000 times. Every time he has a problem with anybody, he sucker punches them and then throws them off of something or into something. And it never causes a problem. There's never a moment. So this thing you're mentioning at the beginning where it's like, I'm being sued because I attacked somebody. He commits endless assaults in the first movie, and everyone they're like, oh, that's Happy Gilmore.
Yes, I might as well talk about this now because who cares? The scene with Eminem is basically like that because this happens near the end of the movie, but Eminem comes up to him when he's at the golf tournament trying to beat Benny Safdie and his like crew of maxi golfers, where he's just in the crowd and he's just like, you knew my father. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And there's like a flashback of some guy who he had a fight with in the first movie, and Eminem is just his son, and he's like wearing a bucket hat or something. He's like he was a really weird character where I'm just like, okay, well, this obviously was a guy from the first movie that like was on screen for like 10 seconds. Yeah,
there is a heckler. Maybe that's the guy.
I think so.
I mean, he gets in fights with so many people. Like, yeah, you'd have to be a super fan to even know which guy that could have been, because there's so many. So.
Yeah. And in this scene, Eminem is just like, I'm taking revenge for my father. And he just like fights him and throws him in the like, the water hazard on the fucking on the hole, and then just these crocodiles come out and tear him apart, and he dies.
He killed Eminem.
He kills Eminem. Eminem is on screen for 1 minute, and he's just getting torn apart by crocodiles. And they're just like, "A holy fuck, that was weird." And the movie just goes on. And I'm like, he killed the guy. That guy's dead.
I'm imagining Eminem. He's doing the Godzilla horn thing that he did in that song. Was that called Godzilla? The song he did.
He did one called Godzilla.
Monsters Out or whatever. Yeah. He's doing that, talking to him with that fucking gay beard that he's had ever since 2018. Mm-hmm. He grew a Drake beard.
He did. Yeah. He honestly shares a lot of parallels with Adam Sandler, a guy who's just way past the prime in his career, doing insane shit now where it's like, don't you feel a little bit embarrassed that you're doing this? Like Eminem's new project. Like, I don't know if you've heard some of his new stuff. Mm-hmm. My God.
It's always too depressing for me to listen further. I haven't liked anything he's done since 2013, I think. Or 14, Marshall Mathers LP2. That's the last thing I enjoyed.
The last thing I really remember is this like really weird like Donald Trump diss.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, that was our rule. If you're a good artist before 2016, it couldn't continue. I think that was in 2018. He made that freestyle video. He had the beard, he had the hat, and it was like, whoa, what did he just do? He had just released Revival, which is like his worst album ever. That was when he turned. Yeah, awfully hot coffee.
That's pot. An awfully hot coffee pot.
Yeah. He couldn't think of a single rhyme for all the things he was saying. He's like, and it's really fucked up what you do because you're president, you. And you're like, really? That's the best you had, Eminem? So he kills Eminem with alligators. So the alligator thing, is there multiple things involving alligators or is it the one callback?
I think it's just that.
Okay. I would have expected there to be something with alligators because there is kind of a significant thing. The original movie, one of the iconic scenes, and it's around the middle of the movie, he's putting and he hits the ball and it just lands in an alligator's open mouth and the alligator closes its mouth.
I've seen that clip.
And then Happy attacks the alligator, chases it into this pond, and then wrestles with it. And it's the most obvious alligator dummy And not just because of how it looks. What I mean is like they didn't have no one's operating it. It's just a still dummy. And Adam Sandler is writhing with it like Bela Lugosi in the Ed Wood. Like,
okay.
He's just, and it's, if I was shooting this movie, at the very minimum, all you have to do, you have to attach something to the bottom of this alligator and then have somebody in the water just kind of holding that thing and just yanking on it every now and then so it looks like it's swimming. It's just this floating, like arms outstretched, obvious dummy that Adam Sandler is like kicking and punching. And it's not supposed to be, what's the other golf? Caddyshack.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the Caddyshack beaver. It's not supposed to be stupid looking, but he just like beats it to death somehow. And then everyone cheers like, you killed the alligator. And then at the end, the alligator's in heaven with Carl Weathers.
Okay.
But I kind of assumed there'd be something. And then the lore is that the alligator obviously ate Carl Weathers' hand. So, getting revenge. He decapitates that alligator and gives it to Carl Weathers, which is what scares him so bad that he falls out of a window.
God, this movie sounds bad. Even the first half.
Not that good.
Okay.
It's like his best movie and it's below average.
Before we get more into the plot, there's something I want to ask you that if this is a recurring joke, within the first 15 minutes, they do this joke 20 times, it feels like. Probably 10. But he's always constantly picking up random objects that are hidden alcohol containers. Is this something that was a joke in the first one at all?
No.
Okay. This made me want to pull my teeth out. For like 10 scenes in a row, he's like just telling the backstory of like how he like, killed his wife and everything. And he's like, and yeah, I got like into alcohol. Is he an alcoholic in the first one?
Nope.
So I guess this stems from this. He's picking up like a TV remote and then unscrewing the top and it's like a hidden alcohol container. Same with like a golf. He'll like putt a golf ball and then pick it up and like does a shot out of it. He does it 10 times. And like, your classic line, Caleb, I'm like, we get it. He's an alcoholic. Yes, you don't need to. Here's the thing. In Dirty Work, when they do a funny thing, like for example, in Dirty Work, there's a joke where it's revealed that like Norm has like a crush on like a Sean Connery as Bond or something. Like there's a little throwaway thing. It's just like, are you like, does the like From Russia with Love poster make you horny? He's like, no. And then like a scene like 15 minutes later is him stealing that poster. And it's like a one-off thing. You're like, okay, that's a callback to a joke. It stops being funny when you do it 20 times in a row. Yeah. And this is bad even for Adam Sandler standards. I mean, I've seen Jack and Jill.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Dunkachino.
This can never air. Yes, I hate that movie. It's terrible, but I kind of love it in the sense that it's just one of like, how did you possibly think that this was going to be good? But Happy Gilmore 2, I don't know why nobody said, okay, we'll cool it with the hidden alcohol containers. Especially if it's not a joke from the first movie, because the Gators where Eminem just dies is at least a callback. And there are characters like Carl Weathers has a son who is just Huel from like Breaking Bad. And he also has a missing hand. And I was looking at him just like, why is his hand all fucked up? Because it looks terrible. It looks like a fucking like mannequin at Macy's hand. Those are at least callbacks to something. I don't know why you would do a new joke 20 times in a row.
I think that he doesn't do second drafts. He writes all of his movies. He writes almost all of them with the same one or two people. And all of them have the exact same problems, which is that like, people criticize his movies for just being like stupid and not that funny. And it's like, well, it's subjective if it's funny. And if it's stupid, you can always just say, well, it's a comedy. The thing is with Adam Sandler's movies and what irks me so much about them, and it relates to the not evenly spaced out running gag you're referring to, is if you're making your comedy movie, if you have an idea of like, it's going to be a guy playing golf. He eventually is going to win at the end. Here's the bad guy. Here's the motivation. And now we need to come up with funny scenes of him playing golf. There is no story and there's no like mapping out your story and making sure that you have lulls to build anticipation of the next comedy set piece or the next golf thing. It's just kind of what they thought of. So not to just be a broken record, but just like with Family Guy, you'll have kind of just like, well, here's a wacky thing, here's a wacky thing, here's a wacky thing. We have to wrap it up. So now we're at the ending. And then whatever happened throughout the movie, it's probably not that funny because there's no like time spent on it. All of the humor in his movies, whether it works or doesn't, it's all stuff that wouldn't take there's nothing that's crafted. It's all just like someone saying something weird that if you were sitting there with your writing partner going, all right, so like this scene feels a little dry. Okay, what if he says like, you can put that in your butt? And you're like, that's a joke a 5-year-old would write. That's not even a joke. That's just, you're just saying a weird thing. His movies are full of that shit. So I get the feeling he doesn't do a second draft. I think they sit down, they just shit it out. I think he's just extremely lazy. And not just in the writing of it, but also his acting, his characters. Like there's just so little variety or like anything that would take time to think about and mold that I think that proves that he's not spending time trying to do that stuff. I don't think he's bad at it. I think he just doesn't even attempt it. Maybe he is bad at it, but we wouldn't know because he's never really made a comedy with effort. The only good things he's ever been in is when like a real auteur is like, I think I could use you to play a very specific weird guy that no one else could play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also feel like this is a different era of Sandler where in like the original Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, I feel like he was the punchline a lot of the time, or he was doing a lot of like the jokes were on him. There was like his physical acting. This feels a lot more phoned in where everybody else is the punchline. Like there are just people like falling through tables and doing just like insanely stupid shit where it seems like Sandler would be doing that if this was the 90s, but he's just so old now and it's just so phoned in that he's like, I'll delegate this work to other people. And it's not even really that interesting. There's a scene where he's like trying to get back in the mojo where he's like, okay, I'm just going to like, go to a golf course and like play through with some people. And the cameos in this movie, I don't know why people agreed to be in this. I mean, maybe that Netflix money was hitting, but he goes and his group is Eric Andre, one of the guys from Please Don't Destroy, which is a group on SNL, and Margaret Qualley. She does not need to do this movie. Okay. I mean, she's at this point, she had done The Substance.
She had done Honey Don't, dude.
Exactly.
She had done Driveway Dolls.
Yes. I don't know why she agreed to be in this. I mean, I understand. There are a lot of golf pros in this movie. Like you have John Daly, who's actually kind of funny, and he's an interesting character in real life. Mm-hmm. You have Bryson DeChambeau. You have Jack Nicklaus. You have Rory McIlroy. Basically, the people who are at the top of the PGA Tour right now. It makes sense for them to be in this as a cameo because I think some golfers like this movie. It's a golf movie. I mean, they like Caddyshack. They like stuff like this. Mm. I don't know why you're getting people who are like A-list actors who are like up for Oscars. Do they think he's that funny?
No, but it probably pays good. And it's a way to just maximize the quadrants that people are going to get notice from. Not that Margaret Qualley is like big with the kids, but it's like, okay, like we've ensured a little bit more people will watch this because maybe they're a fan of Margaret Qualley. Okay, Eric Andre, we got the like alt comedy guys. They're going to be into that, And, Netflix is paying for it. They don't know what they're doing. They spent like $9 billion on Stranger Things season 5.
Yes.
Like, they don't know how to manage their money. And Adam Sandler's Netflix deal is apparently like insanely lucrative. He signed it before anyone was making Netflix deals. Like he made a deal with Netflix in like 2014. Like I don't even think they had original content you could watch yet. Like it was being made, obviously.
They had like Orange is the New Black and that was it.
Oh, that's right. They had House of Cards. They had shows. That's right. But they hadn't made movies yet. I think their first movie was 2015 or something. So I'm pretty sure I can kind of remember actually where I was, like 9/11 a little bit. I remember being in a Chinese restaurant reading that on my phone that Adam Sandler signed a Netflix deal, and he's not paying, not a cent of this came out of it. It's not The Aviator. He's not funding this with his own. It's not a passion project.
Yeah.
He doesn't have passion. He's very devoid. I don't know if have you watched interviews with Sandler? Like as a 40 and on?
Not serious interviews. Maybe only like uncut gems, but nothing like talking about his craft or his like comedy.
So Uncut Gems and the Meyerowitz stories are the only two promotions for a movie I've seen him do where he didn't look like he wants to put a gun in his mouth. I'm not even kidding. He just has this vacant, I think in Punch Drunk Love when he has his little anxiety moment and then he like plays the few notes on the key before going back to get on the phone. There's this kind of just like, kind of emotionless face he makes where he like powers down for a second. He just has that on his face all the time now. And I think that success, I think it's like a Great Gatsby thing a little bit where like the amount of success and money he has just secluded him from like anything normal. And I think he's just a man of like a low class. Like I think, his humor is lowbrow, low IQ kind of, he doesn't operate anywhere where you have to think in that stratosphere. So probably feels inadequate or just feels out of place. And I think that dissonance has really aged him. Because all these Netflix comedies, everything he's been doing for the last 10 years, where he's the most successful he's ever been in terms of the paychecks, he just looks checked out all the time. Like, it doesn't look like he's having fun. And you mentioned the thing of like how he used to be the joke, now he's not. I got a feeling that similar to how when we were in film school, we got tired of shooting anything where someone would interrupt somebody because it's annoying to have to edit the sound. And then if the take wasn't right, so it's like, I'm going to make a film where people are indoors and they're talking quietly and they don't interrupt you because you're tired of dealing with problems. I think that he's just like, well, if I have to fall through this table, I'm going to have to fall. I could hurt my shoulder. I'm going to have to change my costume. He doesn't want to do all that shit. So his movies are they're filled with him being surrounded by people doing silly and funny stuff while he holds a Mai Tai in Hawaii.
Yes.
You know, it's not even a hidden secret that his movies are just an excuse for him to take a vacation and embezzle money to Rob Schneider.
That's exactly what this movie is. It's him standing and reacting to the funny thing.
Yeah.
There's this, one of the most bizarre cameos. I don't even know how he pulled or why this person would want to do it. When he gets invited back to the US Open, whatever it is, with his old golf buddies who are just like, happy you're so cool. They're at a dinner and the like maitre d' or waiter is just Bad Bunny. That like, you know, what do you call it? Like reggaeton, like music artist. And he barely speaks English and it's so funny.
Yeah.
Like he'll just come and be like, hey, baby, my name is Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny. Oh my God. There was a really terrible sketch that I saw from Bad Bunny's appearance. And it's called K-Pop Demon Hunters.
Oh.
And everybody's just like kind of around the table and like, hey, anybody seen any good movies recently? And it's very contemporary. It's like, oh yeah, one battle after another, really good. I'm seeing Marty Supreme soon. And he goes, yeah, my kid, he watched a movie. Yeah, K-Pop Demon Hunter. And they're just like, oh, the kids movie. He goes, yeah, that song's so good in there. And then they just have it in classic SNL fashion, just the actors from K-Pop Demon Hunters sing the song, and he goes, that song's so good. And I'm looking at it, I'm just like, this is a 7-minute sketch, by the way. This is not the cold open or anything. This is not just like a to get them before weekend update.
Yeah.
This is the longest sketch in the entire episode.
I got a feeling that Lorne Michaels, since he's been there, I think the show started when he was like 30 or something. He was young.
I'd say he's 20s.
Maybe 20. Yeah, maybe. He was a young guy, but since it started, 50 fucking years ago, and he's been working on it so much, and like working in television, even successful television, literally everybody will tell you it ages you so much. The amount of pressure and stress and all the shit you got to deal with. He's risen to a level where he's insulated from that stuff probably more than most television producers, but he's been there so long. It's probably been enough that it's probably fried him a bit. And I got a feeling like the writer's room now is like, he has like a little office with like a glass panel that he can like look out. And I'm picturing this like giant space. There's like a conference room of writers that are just sitting around like stretching silly putty. And they're going, this is a metaphor for what we do on the show. You come up with one idea and we got to make it take up as much time as possible. And Lauren is just like smoking a cigarette. And he's just like, fuck my stupid life. Fire the cast. Fire them all today. Because every now and then he'll just impulsively fire like 90%. You know what I mean?
Yes. And he's just like, yeah, he's smoking his cigarette and he goes, Bo and Yang, you're going to be playing a gay bug today.
We were talking about that. Every Bo and Yang sketch is like, I'm the gay spider.
Yeah.
Like, what's the fucking bit?
And I'm the one sassy gay guy in the office, and then I'm the Asian gay in the sketch. Yeah. Every dude, did you know he just left?
Yeah, he quit recently.
Yeah, it wasn't the end of the season.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I think he just has wanted to quit and then regretted not quitting. Mm-hmm. And then he found out he could. Because I saw some statement where he's like, yeah, it was just, it was time. I need to do something else because this ship is going down.
He couldn't phone it in for like 4 more months to finish out the season.
I don't know. Maybe he got a better deal somewhere. It doesn't pay that well. No, apparently.
It's surprisingly, and I mean, this is going to sound like a lot, but I mean, you're in New York. You only get like a couple thousand per episode.
Something like that, yeah.
And that's why a lot of them also have different like things they do. Like Bo and Yang just has a podcast he does. That's like sponsored by like iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he learned to be cheap on SNL is what you're saying. Adam Sandler learned how to... He talked to Lorne Michaels. He goes, how do you do that? Where the bottom... How do you make that thing where your check is so much bigger than everyone else's?
You take all the credit from everybody else.
You get corporate sponsorships, Adam. You got to cast Eminem in your movie, Freedom to Alligator. Thank you, Mr. Michael. Lorne Michaels is so crazy for hiring him. I stand by it. Adam Sandler, one of the worst SNL cast members.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's in terms of talent and like output, it's just very skewed. Like his talent is very low, but he's made like the most money, like maybe out of anybody except like Bill Murray or Chevy Chase, but it has to be Adam Sandler.
He's up there. Him and Eddie Murphy are probably tied for 1 and 2, or they're close, I would bet, for like how much they've just invented money with by doing nothing. Like for the most part, like most of the stuff that's good from either of them happened in the first 5 years of their post SNL career, and then it's just coasting on that till the grave.
Yeah.
And all of Sandler's buddies, by the way, the grown-ups got, like, all of, everyone from his, like, clique were all so much better. Like, David Spade is really underrated for how, like, fucking insanely sharp and witty he is off the cuff. Like, if you've ever seen, I don't know if you've ever seen him just in real life.
I have, and I have to say I don't like David Spade.
Well, I don't love him. I'm just, but like, do you not agree? He's better than Adam Sandler. He's really good at coming up with stuff off the cuff. It's not always like great material, but like the way Kevin Nealon can just kind of riff, you're like, oh, okay, you're able to pull it out. Whereas Sandler just sits there and he's like, I don't know. Like Sandler never has anything to say.
Yeah, he's one of those comics who really needs to like rehearse stuff, and that's not like a bad thing because there are people like Rodney Dangerfield or who's the guy? He was in Casino, that famous actor.
Don Rickles.
There are people like that who can just go very off the cuff, and that's great. But there are other people who just like, I need to have like an actual. I can't just like riff. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But Adam Sandler does seem like the type where he's just like, do not riff with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it.
He can't do anything. It's like he can't do characters. He doesn't have bits. He's only shtick. He's just shouting, screaming. It's just expression with nothing else behind. He's like Jerry Lewis. It's worse than Jerry Lewis. And I hate Jerry Lewis. But like, how did all these other people like Kevin Farley, or sorry, I'm thinking Kevin Neal. Chris Farley. Fuck, why is that fucking me up? It sounds so wrong to say now. Does he have a brother named Kevin? From the David Lynch movie?
Kevin, the David Lynch movie? Oh, the Straight Story. I wouldn't know. I hadn't seen it.
I don't know how he was accepted by the people he was, because Chris Farley, Norm Macdonald, even though I don't love him, Will Ferrell, like all of those people, like literally everyone around him was just so much better. Mm-hmm. Even the ones, Chris Kattan sucks.
Yeah.
And he's kind of better on SNL than Adam Sandler at times. Kattan also had one thing, which is like, I'm gay. But it's like, at least that is something. It's not just being, voice. It's like, what is that?
And Adam Sandler, if he doesn't have a guitar in his hand, he has nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Him and Seth MacFarlane, they have a lot in common, because we talked about how Seth MacFarlane's also just an empty glass, an empty bottle for the Tim Heidecker fans. Anyway, so what happens next? He kills Eminem, and then Bad Bunny is like, wait, how did Bad Bunny come into this?
Bad Bunny is the waiter at like the gala that the U.S. Open holds.
Right. Okay.
And he's just like a bad waiter. And his entire thing is that he wants to start his own restaurant, but they actually don't say that until the last 2 minutes of the movie. Mm. He's just his caddy for some reason. And Sandler is teaching him how to be a caddy, and he's just like bad, because his original caddy in the first movie that he like chokes, he sees him again, and I assume it's the same actor, but just like grown up. Sandler's like, hey, for old time's sake, I'm sorry about the assault and everything. Do you want to be my caddy? And the guy's like, fucking no. And that's the end of that bit.
He has two caddies in Happy Gilmore, and I think he abuses both of them. Is this guy blonde-haired or brown-haired?
Blonde.
Okay, so this is the kid. Yeah, he has a kid caddy that he just like strangles.
Yeah.
Because he hands him like the wrong club or something.
I guess
I don't remember.
I guess so.
He also plays golf with a hockey puck. Does he do that in your movie?
He has like a putter that's basically a...
Yeah, he has did I say hockey puck?
Yeah.
I did. I meant to say hockey stick. He plays with a hockey stick in the movie that's like rubber or something on one side so that it works as a... Yeah. Or no, they already have rubber, don't they?
Well, putters could be a lot. I think a lot of them are metal.
No, hockey sticks. I think he has like a custom one in the movie. I can't remember. I watched this so recently, I already can't remember, but he plays with a hockey stick.
Yeah.
And somehow that works, and it's like regulation. Is that still true in your movie?
I guess so. Yeah, they don't really go too much into the rules of anything. There's one plot point that I do want to say, because it does come into play a bit later. When he's golfing with Margaret Qualley and Eric Andre, he is, kind of like biffing it and slicing all the time because he doesn't have the mojo. And then he finds his happy place where he's like, getting his like feet massaged.
Getting a colonoscopy.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. And then he drives it like 400 yards. And they're like, whoa, Happy Gilmore's back. And then he like starts drinking a little bit more because he's just an alcoholic now. And then he crashes the golf cart and it explodes. And Margaret Qualley and Eric Andre are just like injured. And the police arrest him and they're just like, hey, you got like basically a DUI. The thing is, because you're Happy Gilmore and for movie reasons, if you go to rehab or this like AA meeting type thing, you'll be fine as long as you're like, on the wagon. And he's like, okay, whatever. He goes to this AA meeting. And Ben Stiller walks in with like this like porn, like Boogie Nights porno mustache and like a Canadian tuxedo. And he's like, Happy Gilmore. And I'm just like, okay, what the fuck is this? And I assume this is something that I assumed at this point, and I know I'm right, is from the first movie. And I don't know exactly what he is. They do the stupid flashback thing of just footage from the old movie where it's like, you're in my house now. So who is this guy?
So this is one of the only moments in the movie I like. Ben Stiller has a, not cameo, but he's in it. Like they shot his scenes in one day, probably. He's in it every now and then. The grandma, since the IRS is taking the house, she's temporarily living in a nursing home because they can't afford to get her own place or anything. And Gilmore is going to be going on this tour. And I think he loses his apartment because he can't pay for it. I don't remember. So they like con her way into like a nursing home being like, she can't take care of herself. And Ben Stiller is like this nice orderly or whatever. And he's like, I'll take good care of your grandmother. Don't worry. Sandler's like, okay, goodbye, grandma. You think that the door closes, it's going to cut to next scene with Sandler, but it stays in the room and the camera pans back to Stiller and he goes like, you're in my world now, grandma. And like, and then he's just abusing her the whole movie. Okay. In a very like Freddy Got Fingered, like mean humor way that I enjoyed. Okay. But I don't like Ben Stiller, but that portion of the movie is like, it's kind of a funny, it's not clever, but it's just like, hey, it is funny to watch like elder abuse in a silly comedy. Like, you know what I mean? It's a safe outlet for it.
Okay. I can see that. I do like Ben Stiller for the record. And here I do think he is one of the better, it seems, callbacks. So this character actually is fairly fleshed out.
Yeah.
You know, he's running AA, and there's a bit that I do kind of like where everybody's like, yeah, you know, I went to a club with my friends and they offered me drinks, but, you know, I just said, you know, I'm going to stick with my cranberry juice. And he's like, yeah, but I bet you felt tempted. I bet that you really wanted a drink. And he's like, you know, because of that temptation, I think I need to wash my car tomorrow. And he's basically just making all these people in AA. He's just like, you know, like wax on, wax off. You need to get the temptation out. Come over, clean my windows this weekend. I'll be watching football. And they don't do it like too much. They do it a couple times. I'm like, okay, this isn't overstaying its welcome. But this is the point where Happy Gilmore gets on the wagon. He gets his coin, and he's like, all right, I need to lock in and prepare to beat the evil golfers at Maxi. Okay. And at this point, the movie is setting up the thing of like, okay, this is going to be the penultimate showdown. There really is no middle to this movie. It's just like, I lost everything, and I need to get it back. All right, I'm in the process of getting it back.
Same as the first movie.
And then movie ends. At this point, they had one of the most jarring cameos I think I've ever seen in a movie this decade, where people from actual like news organizations and even on Jeopardy, Ken Jennings is just hosting Jeopardy, and there's like a Happy Gilmore question that like nobody answers, and he's just like, oh, I'm a failure. Nobody knows who I am. After he announces that he's going to be golfing again, they have cameos from the following podcasts. Hot Ones. You see Sean Evans like interview. He interviews Benny Safdie because he's like, yeah, I'm starting this golf league. And he's just like completely like dying to the hot sauce. And it's bad. He has a chick from Call Her Daddy, which is the most watched female run podcast in the world. And the last one that I think I texted you when I saw this, they have a cameo from Bad Friends with Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. And they just have, I believe, also just Benny Safdie on. And they do a thing like in the... Did you ever see the movie Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds?
It looked like the most Reddit bullshit.
I think that movie's whatever for what it is. It actually has some charm. It gets a lot of shit wrong. Anyway, they have a thing in there where they just have like Ninja, that like Twitch streamer, and a bunch of people. They have them appear once, and then at the end of the movie, they're all just reacting again to what just happened. And I hate this trend that's happening in modern movies where they just have bad friends be like, yo, the golf thing's about to happen. And then on the same day, it's just like, the golf thing just happened. That's crazy. You're Happy Gilmore at the end. They do the exact same thing. Whatever you think is going to happen happens in the movie. They have the chick from Call Her Daddy being like, oh my God, the golf.
I can't believe that's real. I've just been staring at Nick I'm trying to picture this in my mind's eye. This sounds like the shittiest, like this is like a War of the Worlds, like Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson ending.
Yeah, it is. And at this point, Benny Safdie is like, oh my God, I can't believe. So there's a thing where the top 5 golfers from the Maxi League, the Evil League, are going to play the top 5 golfers from the U.S. Open. So the U.S. Open team ends up being Happy Gilmore, who just barely makes it, and then like Rory McIlroy and all the actual PGA Tour people in real life. There's a training montage to a Jukebox Hero, which just goes on for like way too long. And then Benny Safdie's like, okay, fuck, I need an ace up my sleeve. I'm going to bail Shooter McGavin out of the asylum. and just get him to like just fight Happy Gilmore for me. They have like an actual fucking fist fight. This is one thing that I think is actually kind of insulting. Shooter McGavin hears that his wife dies and he's like, oh fuck, really? She's dead? Like he's not like an evil guy. He just, had a sports rivalry. So he goes to her grave, and then Adam Sandler, just by, movie logic, appears there and is like, Shooter McGavin, I thought I'd never see you again. And they have just a fucking fist fight, and all the graves are just people from the first movie who are dead. And a lot of the actors are dead too. Like Carl Weathers is dead in real life. And a lot of these other people, they literally like end the fight over Bob Barker's grave. Where at this point, and I don't really care too much about this shit, but I found that a little insulting. They're just fighting over people who are way better than in this movie that is like a half star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the spirit of anything that comedically is like things that feel like they should be or could be a taboo, where you're not technically doing anything wrong, but it's like, ooh, weird ground, like you're saying, with like dancing on not dancing, but like, being asses on the graves of dead people. Mm-hmm. I kind of appreciate that as like, that is doing something kind of similar to the elder abuse thing in the first one, where it's like I appreciate that they're willing to like push the envelope and do something that's like, that is unique humor. But I mean, that just sounds, so what? Like, what's the purpose of this?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that they just roll around, fight, and then eventually it's over. And there's no consequence. It's just like, we fight, and then one of us says like, up your butt. Basically,
yes. What happens at the point of this scene is that they have an old person fight where they're just like winded by like fighting for 30 seconds. And they're just like, we're getting old now. This is the legacy sequel. We're old people. The new school is in, and we're old hat. Where the Maxi League is going to take over. At this point, Shooter McGavin is like, you know what, you basically stole my life from me. But because of movie logic, I'm going to team up with you to defeat the Maxi League because I don't like Benny Safdie's character. He's an asshole. Shooter McGavin is like, we're the same old school. I want this guy to lose. So they get together, more training montage bullshit. During the U.S. Open, Haley Joel Osment is in this movie for some reason. And he is like the double agent that Benny Safdie hired. And there's something that makes no sense, but I have to talk about. Benny Safdie discovers that there was this old guy back in like the 40s who could drive a ball like 500, 600 yards, which is very far for people who don't know in golf. He could drive so far. And the reason why is because he had a ligament in his ass that was snipped somehow in like some accident, and that gave him more range. So there's this recurring joke of all the maxi golfers have like this thing in their ass snipped too, and when they go to drive, their body turns like impossibly like into a corkscrew fashion, and they drive super far. He discovers this, everybody gets snipped. And he is like, he's just like, a Benedict Arnold turncoat. And he's like, actually, I was planning to make it so that you get kicked out of the tournament because I take your spot in there. But then also he leaves the tournament and gets disqualified. So that plot point doesn't make sense. And Adam Sandler just qualifies. And it's like, so what was the point of him being a turncoat? There's really no point for him to do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense because it's like, well, you wouldn't have the place anyway. And honestly, there's only so much more I can say about the plot of this movie. He meets Carl Weathers' son, Huel Babineau from Better Call Saul. And he's just like, all right, man, I'm going to help you. He doesn't do anything to help him. He's just there in the movie now. I don't
like Huel.
Yes. I mean, well, here's the thing. Huel was actually like kind of doing stuff for Jimmy in Better Call Saul. A little bit.
Sure. I'm talking about in Breaking Bad, because like you mentioned Huel from Breaking Bad, and in Breaking Bad, Huel's participation in that show is being the fat guy next to Bill Burr while Bill Burr does all the work.
Yeah. And he's like, got so much money. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, at this point, for the next like 40 minutes, they're just doing the end of the movie where they're driving the ball over these courses that are like meant to be like extreme golf. Like from the tee to like the green is like 800 yards. So the maxi golfers are like driving automatically to the green. Meanwhile, like Sandler and everybody else are in the rough and have to like, they're not the high scorers. Some people get disqualified for really dumb reasons. Like I think like Rory McIlroy just like beats up somebody. And it's like, why did he do that?
Because Gilmore.
Because funny movie.
Yeah.
Because you have to laugh at the movie. So one by one, piecemeal, Happy Gilmore and like all the other, U.S. Open golfers are kind of making their way back up in this. And it gets to a point where they're on the last hole and somebody gets it like in par 3 or something. And then Sandler needs to make it like get a birdie or something to win. And this is pretty standard. And they do something that I think is just really stupid. So he shanks it and it ends up in a sand trap. And the sand traps here are very extreme where they're literally like 10 feet down with a ladder in them. And you need to chip it way up to get on the green. The thing is, the green on here is raised. It's this giant like cylinder. And if you stand on it, it tilts. So he shanks it into the sand, hits it onto the green, and you realize that if he puts it in, he's only going to like tie with them. And you're like, okay, so is there going to be a tiebreaker or something? In the standard movie fashion, Benny Safdie's like, you know what? Even if you tie this, I'm going to grant all your wishes. And you're like, why would you do that? It's a contrived plot point where it's like, well, why not just make it so that he would have to get a birdie to do that, which you were going to, and then he misses it, and they're like, never mind, the stakes have changed.
I know why.
Why?
Well, I have a good guess why. I have an educated guess why that I think you're going to agree with. It's because my theory is right that they don't do second drafts, and they realized that they wrote him to a point where he was too behind. So they said, we need something that's going to change. We need a Deus Ex Machina. But what most writers would do, where they go, oh, okay, let me go back and plant a seed for a Deus Ex. They went, well, Benny Safdie's going to have a change of heart for zero reason. The same Family Guy thing that's in all of Adam Sandler's movies. Nothing is built up to. It's just goofy. It needs to be end. So now the villain is going to completely change his reasoning. The ending of Happy Gilmore has one of those too.
And this is just so dumb and like far beyond what reality could be.
Yeah.
When they get on the green that's elevated, Bad Bunny is his caddy, and he's just like, yo, Bad Bunny, whatever his fucking name is, I'll call him Bad Bunny. He's just like, all right. John Bunny. If you stand on it, it will tilt, so we need to be of equal weight. So we're going to stand on here at the same time, and then in classic, evil guy fashion, he's like, the green starts to spin like counterclockwise. And not having any knowledge of how to do this, he hits it like at an angle so that like, the centrifugal force will like, allow him to like putt it in. And of course he does it, and then he wins because Benny Safdie just gave him the win. And it makes no sense.
I'm a little confused. When you say the green rotates, is this like they're on a bobblehead of green?
Yes. So it's hard to explain this without seeing it, but like I said, this is like extreme golf. The entire green, think of it as like a perfect circle. When they stand on it, it is raised about 3 or 4 feet off the ground, and it tilts.
Okay.
If there's too much weight on either side. So they have to be like equilibrium and then put it in.
And the hole is on the same plane that's also moving. So when you hit the ball, the green itself will already move.
Yes, and I also have a problem with this physics-wise because the green, let's say the green is rotating like clockwise or something. I'm not a physics expert, but wouldn't you just still have to put it in straight for it to go in because that's how like Newton's laws of physics go?
Yeah, supposedly. I mean, I haven't seen it. If it's on some kind of if it's on like a spoke and it's not tilting side to side like a bobblehead would.
It's perfectly balanced, yes.
Okay, then yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he hits it at like an angle where it makes like a spiral and it goes in. And I was looking at it, I'm just like, well, I don't think that's how physics works.
It would have to move really fast for that to get that like cone where you have to throw it the opposite direction to get it to go straight.
Yeah. And I think even if you hit it like along the side, like if you were spinning, there's like those like salad bowls, you press the middle and the centrifugal force like spins it or something like that. I think that does it, like if you just hit it along the side, it would just keep spinning, right? If it didn't fly out.
Unless the green was spinning like a really high speed, I'm pretty sure.
And this kind of goes into your theory that there's no second drafts because somebody would be like, well, hold on, why don't you just hit it straight? And he's like, show it. Don't talk about my movie now.
Well, I'm sure, you know what, in the script it said like big, it said how I'm describing it. It's like big green like a bobblehead. They're like, well, they'll figure it out later. We'll hire some asshole who has to figure out how to film this bullshit. The ending of Happy Gilmore is insane. Shooter McGavin there's this guy that like looks up to Shooter McGavin who I guess they have a personal relationship, and he says, hey, I'll pay you, or you should do me this favor. Happy out there is making a mockery of the game that we love. So I want you to run him over with your car.
Oh my God.
And then the guy's like, you got it, Shooter McGavin. So then one day they're golfing. Happy is walking on the green. A car is just on the green driving behind him at a high speed. How did it get there? It's just there. Like the way it's shot, it just appears. It's like the helicopter in The Predator. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Julie Bowen has one of the, I gotta show it to you later. There is like a Last of Us season 2 Bella Ramsey like fish lip moment with Julie Bowen.
Okay.
You know the meme of Bella Ramsey shooting the gun?
Yes.
And it looks like there's a hook in her lip. Julie Bowen is like, the car's driving behind Happy. It cuts to a shot of Julie off to the side with all the spectators. She's looking in Sandler's direction, smiling. And then she does this like crazy face turn and she goes, she sticks her pointer out and she goes, "Happy lookout." She says it. And I was like, did my TV stutter? And I rewound it. And sure enough, she just, with her like mouth swinging open like a cow chewing grass, she just goes, "Happy lookout." This car runs over Adam Sandler. And then he's fine, by the way. Then the car hits the observation tower that the announcers are in. It explodes, just like your explosion. It explodes, and then somehow there's like no one's mad at Shooter McGavin for hiring an assassin to kill Happy Gilmore.
Yeah,
they're like they all just forget about it, and I'm like, wait, what?
Wait, that's a huge thing. Yeah.
This would be like no one cares. The first movie, there's no consequences. So that's this will be the last time I mention it. Another thing about Family Guy, I mentioned at the beginning, Peter and the Chicken. Family Guy is full of moments where like a character will die in a scene and they're in the next scene. Mm-hmm. So nothing ever has any weight to it. Everything's impossible. And anytime they do anything that would actually get you consequences in real life, no one ever cares. At the end, no second drafts, there's just a scene where they needed to have that observation tower fall over, but they didn't do it earlier. So this guy just starts climbing on it and then it falls over and lands in between where Happy's ball is and the hole. Mm-hmm. And he's on the putting green or whatever. You know, he's like in short distance. Shooter has already sunk his ball. And if Gilmore can make it if he can do it in one more stroke, he will, he'll beat Shooter McGavin. Mm-hmm. And then when the thing falls, Shooter McGavin is like, no. He has to play it where it lies because those are the rules. And they're like, you're right. That is the rules. And it's like, what? It's like the thing is destroyed. Yes. You can't golf here. And they're like, well, Gilmore, I guess you just lose because, like, how are you ever going to make this shot? In the middle of the movie, he goes to a mini golf place with Carl Weathers. He hits a shot where it's designed where you need to hit the ball up onto this little, like, platform, and then it'll roll down this, like, Rube Goldbergian thing into the hole.
That's why that's in the sequel. Yes, his son is working at a mini golf course that has a thing like that. Okay.
And the thing is, at this course, it's designed, everything's in place that if you just need to hit it on this platform, and then you've basically won. It'll fall in the hole eventually, but what you're really aiming for is the platform. Once you've hit the platform, you've guaranteed to win. It's not an accident that he does this. It's how it's made. This course with the fallen over tower, because of like pieces of the piping and whatever and all this stuff that's like strewn about, it kind of has this path to the hole. And Gilmore just like somehow 3D chess like can see how this is going to go. And then he does this amazing putt where he hits it in the perfect place where it like bounces like those impossible ping pong landing in a cup, bouncing off of saucepans in your living room TikTok videos. Mm-hmm. He just hits it. It just goes bang, bang, bang into all this stuff and then perfectly rolls in the hole. Oh my God. He's not talented. Canonically, he's not talented enough to do that. The one time he did it, he was at a place where it was made. This is just debris. But now he's like a literal genius who can he can face away and like kick the ball with his left foot and it'll go in the hole somehow. He's doing this like insane trick shot. And the movie, it's supposed to be that like he earned that, but there's literally nothing in the movie of him improving his skill. Like he practices putting, but that's just hitting a ball straight. It's this thing of like, oh, he finally made it. He finally did it. The way in Tommy Boy, you know, in Tommy Boy, when he finally makes a sale and it's like, it's a really bad attempt, but it's a believable attempt for what his character could do. And it's like, oh, okay, he accomplished something, he tried, and it's funny because it's still shitty because he's a fuck up, because that's all these characters. Mm-hmm. He's like somehow not a fuck up at the end. Like he's just great. Adam Sandler's just the best. He's just the GOAT.
Yeah, I haven't seen Tommy Boy, but what I get at what you're saying is that it feels unearned. Like there wasn't something of like, oh, I practiced that putt like 1,000 times, so I know how to do this.
Everyone reacts like that's what happened.
Yeah, but
the movie never did that.
Okay.
So it's not a thing where you're like, that's bullshit. He'd never, like, it's stupid, but it's not played for comedy. It's not like he fucked it up, which would be funny. Mm-hmm. Or if like, you know, Shooter McGavin tried to fuck with him again and accidentally it's like he knew how to do this whole time. Mm-hmm. Like he had this like Jedi. It's like in The Force Awakens when John Boyega just has a lightsaber and he's able to fight Kylo Ren.
It's contrived.
Yeah. And you're like, wait, what? But everyone's like, oh my God, you could do it. He's like, I know, I'm Adam Sandler and I wrote the movie. And then it just says the end. And I was like, what? That's not an ending. You can't do that.
I really hope he actually does say, I'm Adam Sandler and I wrote the movie. Bye-bye.
It does have a moment. Literally, you remember in Dirty Work when we watched the theatrical version, or the thing that was slightly different of them talking in the car slightly longer?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, that's kind of neat, but it is better that it just ended. In this movie, it just has voiceover. He's like, and then I won the money and grandma got her 271,000 or whatever. Like, and then it shows him walking into his house and it just quickly fades to black. And as it's fading to black, the text "the end" flashes on the screen, but like really quickly. It's like they fucked it up.
Whoa.
Again, I rewound. I was like, what?
Whoa. He's like, that's it.
That's
bye.
Literally, it's an Alto Nights. That's it.
Oh my God. This movie, I forget exactly how it ends, but it does have like a different epilogue, I would say. So after he wins, he goes back to the AA meeting and Ben Stiller's like, oh, looks like we have a superstar here and all this stuff. And he's just like, yeah, I think you're going to be, don't think that you won't come to my house to like wash my car again or some whatever. One of the girls in the AA meeting just kind of like speaks into her collar and she's like, all right, move in now. And you're like, wait, what the fuck's going on? The FBI fucking blows the windows open like Rainbow Six, rappels in and is like, hey, Ben Stiller, whatever the fuck, you're under arrest for all the crimes. And he's like, oh my God. And he runs out. And then Adam Sandler's like, all right, the movie's over now. And it's like, okay.
This is the most like Jewish reparations. Adam Sandler is so terrible. He's so bad at making movies. And, we lived through his renaissance of where the cultural conversation has shifted, where he almost only gets positive feedback now. Even though he still made Hubie Halloween and shit, after Uncut Gems, that movie was good enough that he earned respect that has not gone away. And now every time he's in a movie that isn't a Sandler comedy, he's getting rave reviews. He was nominated at the Screen Actors Guild, which are all the actors in SAG, which is almost all the actors. And there's a lot of crossover with the people who nominate the Oscars. The SAG Awards, the Oscars, a lot of overlap with the nominees and wins. Sandler was nominated for a SAG Award for a movie called Hustle that he produced. That's where he's playing like a recruiter for a basketball league or something. And it's just like a average drama, but every time he's just acting, people are like, oh my God, he's brilliant. And I think he's been brilliant a couple times, but he's still doing this like complete bullshit. Hubie Halloween and this, and I think there's one other in the 2020s. He hasn't made that many comedies this decade so far. He's eased up on it, but he's still doing it, and they're still just as bad. I watched part of Hubie Halloween, and I was watching it as a like, I'm gonna go hate watch this obvious bullshit. I'm going to get really drunk. 20 minutes in, I was like, I can't enjoy this. Yeah. It makes me so angry just watching resources be squandered on this like just village idiot.
Yes. I would much prefer when movies are like bafflingly bad than something that just seems phoned in.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore 2 seems extremely phoned in. And this movie does look kind of expensive. I don't know what the budget on this is. Actually, you know what? I'm going to look it up right now as I talk about this because I assume it's going to be like $100 million. I'm going to kill myself. But it wasn't enjoyable in the sense there was like maybe one or two moments where I laughed and I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. Other than that, it was just a completely like boring experience. Like every 10 minutes I would just pause and like literally walk around my apartment and just do anything else because it was so boring. Okay, so I just looked this up. Happy Gilmore 2 somehow has a 6 on IMDb and a 62% in Rotten Tomatoes. Caleb, what do you think the budget on this is? I know you haven't seen it, so you would have no reason why. No frame of reference whatsoever.
His movies do have crazy high budgets. So even though I wouldn't think it's going to be breaking 100 mil, it might be close to that. So I'm going to do the cheeky thing and say 99 mil.
You're going to Price is Right me right here? Yeah. Caleb. I don't think you're ready.
Let me say this. I think it would have cost about 15. But what did they spend?
Caleb, the official budget of this movie is $150 million.
Oh my God.
How? That's like half of The Irishman.
That's way more than half. The Irishman was made for less, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. What movie? Oh, I think Avengers Infinity War is like $300 million.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Irishman definitely was Netflix is like, you have to put this under 100 mil for sure.
Yeah. Irishman was made for pennies compared to what it would cost in most people's hands.
Yes. And also, this was filmed in like New Jersey, too. According to this article I just opened.
Paying a lot of money.
There's a lot of CG in this movie. So I guess that's probably where a lot of it went, or just like Adam Sandler's minimum that he has if he just completely Netflix out of all his money.
There's nothing. It's not even like there's pyrotechnics. Like I'm sure these explosions are all CG.
Yes, I would agree. One thing that I think is very insulting about this too is there is a big hubbub this year about one battle after another, and how everybody's like, it's Paul Thomas Anderson, this prestige director's like most expensive movie, and that at the most liberal estimate is $110 million. This movie costs $40 million more than a movie that's probably going to win Best Picture.
Is going to win Best Picture, yeah.
I
would say.
Oh, out of the other movie that might win, I would prefer this, but
I feel comfortable predicting that.
Yeah, I am not 100% about it, but point is, that's an actual movie that has like awards chances that they were right to spend money on.
Yeah,
they're right to give him the budget, because I think now it's made back at least its budget, not including marketing. It's just so insulting that a movie like Happy Gilmore 2 has like $50 million more that Netflix is willing to throw around. It makes me think cinema is dead.
It is.
I think Happy Gilmore is the second plane to hit the tower.
Yeah, and One Boner was the first. And by the way, One Boner didn't have to be 110 million either. I mean, like, I'm not learned enough to know what that money went to outside of the actors' salaries, because I know Leo was taking probably like $20 million.
He probably took like a quarter of it at least.
So there's that, and there's the fact that you have a lot of practical stuff like the car chases. That obviously costs money. Like, there is reasons why one battle would be expensive, but even 110, it's like, no, I mean, they might have built tons of sets, but a lot of the scenes in that movie could be shot without needing sets. You could find locations, and it seems like they did mostly. So it's like, again, where did that money go either? It's not on the screen. The movie is just people in rooms for the most part, and outside on the freeway. It's like, that's not.
Yeah, guys, let's get these budgets down. Like, I forget who said this, but somebody said, like, if you have like a Marvel movie that costs like $100 million, if you were like an actual smart like investor and like put money towards like indie projects, you could make 10 movies that cost $10 million that are probably going to be better than like Ant-Man 7.
Yeah, any movie, if you're a cinephile, or if you know a cinephile who's always recommending movies around wintertime when it's like, there's this A24 movie, there's the Safdie brothers. If you are one of those people or know one of them, a lot of the movies they're recommending to you are extremely cheap. Mm-hmm. Moonlight, Manchester by the Sea, Hell or High Water, those were all movies in 2016 that were made for like pennies, and they were all successful, good movies, made their money back. Every year there's examples of this, and it's kind of the divide has grown so much that almost everything, I forget where I heard this, but somebody once said, like, when the Oscar categories, there's only overlap with Sundance. Mm-hmm. When the only movies that can even be good enough to make to get at the Oscars are this cheap that they could play at Sundance, that you have to make the Sundance restrictions. They had to shorten the budgets to like it's like micro budget only to get into Sundance.
Really?
But yeah, because like every movie that was getting into Sundance was like Moonlight, and then regular filmmakers like, what the fuck? Why can't I get, like, I made this for $3,000. I made this Dogma movie called Security Colorado, and you're not letting me into Sundance. And they said, like, when you have to make the Sundance restrictions so restrictive that now the Sundance films look like the Slam Dance entries. Like, and then now the Slam Dance films are just the Sundance film. We're getting to this point where like almost anything good is made for so cheap, which just proves you don't need that much. So 150 mil, like, there are some accountants who need to be put under the jail for that movie.
Yes. I think most of it does go to paying salaries of people like DiCaprio who are just like, I need minimum 20 million for this. I mean, I even looked it up just now. Marty Supreme, which is another movie that is probably going to win Best Actor.
I think so.
I think it's almost a shoo-in at this point. That movie only cost $60 million to make. I mean, and I say only, but in terms of stuff that actually has like award chances, you don't need to make a movie. I mean, Happy Gilmore 2 is 3 times that. And it's going to win nothing. It's going.
Marty Supreme, by the way, that's a movie where, like, again, I'm not learned enough to say this from experience, but for a movie that costs $60 million, you kind of see it. Like, that is a mid-budget, what used to be called a mid-budget, like in the 50 range or whatever, or maybe a little less than that, actually. That movie's a little more expensive than mid, but you see all the money. Like, it's a period piece it's not a period piece in my apartment. It's a period piece where they're like in the fucking world all over the place. Probably costs money to like redress everything. And there's stunt work. There's all this like passion and energy put into it. So like, it's just one of many examples. Again, all the stuff that makes it to the Oscars are always examples like, look, you can do do it with spare parts in a cave like Tony Stark. You know, how is the Hollywood system so broken that they're spending 5 times as much money and making nothing anyone wants to see?
It's money laundering, probably. Yeah, whatever. I'll just say that as a truth.
I come from my whole family are movie lovers. My parents don't remember the last time they were at a theater. My brother told me yesterday the last thing he saw in a theater was the Wes Anderson movie Asteroid City, which was like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. God, what was the last thing I saw in theaters? Probably Sentimental Value, and that was like in December. I think it was like on my birthday. I'm like, you know what? And that movie is like definitely under 10 million.
Probably.
Yeah, and that does have some decent awards chances. Like it's already won stuff at like lower circuits. So that just goes to show you that you don't need a lot of money to make a movie that's actually good and has a decent chance to actually win something, because I don't believe awards like inherently give you any like prize monetarily, but there are a lot of production companies that when they win something, I don't know if it's like internally, but there is some kind of like monetary award.
Yeah, the awards attention draws viewers because all of these movies, that's why they put them back in the theaters after the Oscar nominations, because people will then go, oh, I saw on the Today Show that this thing called Sentimental Value was nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah.
And then they see the movie. So it does get a small, you know, it's not a ton, but it's kind of like putting your hands in the ocean and trying to lift some sand out. You'll still have some pebbles at the end. Like most people are not going to care, but you've gained a little bit of viewership with the awards. So it does help in a small way. Last thing I saw in the theater was Tron Ares. No, it was Marty Supreme. But before that, it was Tron Ares.
Yeah. I think we saw Tron and I was like, this is terrible, and I needed to see something good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, thank God for Marty Supreme. That was the one good theater experience I had in 2025.
Yeah. I will see it. I'm excited. In short, ladies and gentlemen, do not watch Happy Gilmore 2. It is not worth your time. It is a cinematic abortion. I can't believe Netflix... Oh, fuck it. Whatever. Keep that in. I'm not even that drunk. I can't believe Netflix put $150 million of their own money up for this. You can't see it. This seems like a $50 million movie, if you really think about it. And I don't even think you should really watch the original Happy Gilmore. From what you've said, it's and I trust your opinion on comic movies like this or comedies in general. I don't think it's really worth watching in the big 2026.
It's a bullshit nothing thing. It's kind of like, do you remember that Bo and Yang movie where he's gay on an island?
That's his entire filmography.
I think it's called Fire Island.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, we did watch the trailer.
Came out the same year as Bros, I think. And both of those movies, maybe it was Bros actually. One of those two we watched 2 gay trailers for comedies. And after one of them, you said you watched it and you're like, wow, I don't think there was one thing about that I wouldn't have we didn't even have a reaction because it was just so boring. It was so passe, so predictable. Yeah. Happy Gilmore is just the 90s version of that for a movie. It's just every trope, but without any humor. Humorless comedy.
Yes, and Happy Gilmore 2 is just a whisper of the original. I assume the original has to be better, but everything is just, hey, remember in Happy Gilmore when you hit the ball the weird way? And then also everyone's dead now. That's exactly what this movie is. Yeah. It's him. He doesn't even really do the funny voice all that often, which was kind of disappointing because I assume if you like Adam Sandler, you like his mannerisms. And here it's just him being like, I gotta hit the ball crazy way. He's doing old Adam Sandler voice.
He's so cooked. We're gonna talk about Jay Kelly. That's him in real life. That's just he's just this mopey, sad dog Sandler. Stop being such a fucking rich mope. Go make more. Go fund a Safdie brothers. Not Benny. Go fund. Fuck that Safdie. Because I real forgot Benny was even in this one. Yeah. Go find Josh Safdie. Fund his next movie. Marty Supreme is Kino, and you are ruining our world with these Netflix movies, just burning money.
Yes, use your production company, Happy Madison, to fund I don't know, Todd Solondz is Jewish. You could fund one of his movies. Yeah. Harmony Korine is also very Jewish.
Woody Allen's Jewish. Uncancel Woody Allen with your money, Adam Sandler.
You know what? Sure.
Don't watch Happy Madison. Nick said don't watch Happy Madison 2. Do spend that time subscribing to the Patreon and listening to the first 2 episodes of the Sequel Telephone Game, where we talk about a Chinese classic and its bad remake, and an American classic and its bad remake.
Exactly. And if you want to follow us on the socials, on Instagram and TikTok, we are Your Older Brothers Podcast. On X, we are You Are Older Brothers.
You can write to us at yourolderbrothers@gmail.com. And if you want to hear more episodes like this, subscribe at patreon.com/yourolderbrothers. Yes, you can get the RSS link there, and then you can listen to the premium feed in your regular podcast app.